on perfect wisdom. With the divisions of the Abhisamilakra. Translated by Edward Conze. University of California Press, Berkeley, Los Angeles, London. Translation of the Sutra. Chapter 36. The exposition of the purity of all dharmas. The weak medium path. Sariputra. This purity is deep, O Lord. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. Because of the purity of what? The Lord. Because of the purity of form, 2. The knowledge of all modes. The medium path. Sariputra. A true light, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. Because of the purity of what? The Lord. The purity of the infinite light results from the purity of the 6 perfections, the various kinds of emptiness, 2. Of the knowledge of all modes. The strong medium path. Sariputra. Not subject to rebirth is the perfection of wisdom. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. The purity results from the non-passing on of what? The Lord. The fact that form, 2. The knowledge of all modes are not subject to passing on or to rebirth, that is the purity. The strong weak path. Sariputra. Undefiled, O Lord, is purity. The Lord. Because of the absolute absence of all defilement. Sariputra. Through the non-defilement of what is the purity? The Lord. The purity results from the fact that form, 2. The knowledge of all modes are in their essential original nature free from the defilements. The strong medium path. Sariputra. The purity is without attainment or reunion. The Lord. Because there is absolutely no attainment or reunion. Sariputra. Through the non-attainment of what and through the non-reunion with what is their purity? The Lord. Through the non-attainment of form, 2. The knowledge of all modes, and through the non-reunion with them. The strong path. Sariputra. Purity, O Lord, does not reproduce itself. The Lord. Because absolutely there is no reproduction. Sariputra. The purity results from the non-reproduction of what? The Lord. It results from the non-reproduction of the 5 skandhas. The path as opposed to the world. Sariputra. Purity means no rebirth, whether in the world of sense desire or the world of form, or the formless world. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that purity means no rebirth in the triple world? The Lord. Because, when the own being is considered, there is no rebirth in any of the 3 worlds. XX. The path as opposed to the duality between the cognition and the cognizable. Sariputra. Purity, O Lord, does not cognize. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that purity does not cognize? The Lord. Because one is benumbed by Dharma. Sariputra. Purity does not cognize the skandhas. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that purity does not cognize the skandhas? The Lord. On account of the emptiness of own marks. Sariputra. Purity does not cognize all dharmas. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that purity does not cognize all dharmas? The Lord. Because it does not apprehend them. Refutation of an objection with regard to the path. Conclusion of the dual purity of the path of development. Sariputra. The perfection of wisdom neither helps nor hinders all knowledge. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that the perfection of wisdom neither helps nor hinders all knowledge? The Lord. Because of the established order of Dharma. Sariputra. The purity of the perfection of wisdom does not take hold of any Dharma. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. How is it that the purity of the perfection of wisdom does not take hold of any Dharma? The Lord. Because the Dharma element has been taken hold of. Sariputra. The purity of the skandhas, O Lord, is due to the purity of the self. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. For what reason is the purity of the skandhas due to the purity of the self? The Lord. The absolute purity results from the unreality of both self and the skandhas. Sariputra. The purity of the perfections, too. The 18 special Buddha dharmas is due to the purity of self. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. The purity of all dharmas is due to the purity of self. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. For what reason is the purity of self the purity of all dharmas? The Lord. It is purity because of the unreality of self. Sariputra. To the purity of the self is due the purity of the fruit of a stream winner. And so is that of the fruit of a once returner, a never returner, of arhatship, and of the enlightenment of a pratyeka Buddha. The Lord. On account of the emptiness of own marks. Sariputra. To the purity of the self-enlightenment. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Due the purity of. Sariputra. For what reason is the purity of enlightenment due to the purity of the self? The Lord. On account of the emptiness of own marks. Sariputra. To the purity of self is due the purity of all knowledge. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. For what reason is the purity of all knowledge due to the purity of the self? The Lord. On account of the emptiness of own marks. Sariputra. The dual purity is not attainment or reunion. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. For what reason is the dual purity not attainment or reunion? The Lord. Because in Dharma, non-purification are the same. Non-defilement and Sariputra. The boundlessness of the skandhas is due to the boundlessness of the self. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Sariputra. For what reason is the boundlessness of the skandhas due to the boundlessness of the self? The Lord. On account of absolute emptiness without beginning or end. Emptiness and of the Sariputra. This then, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom of the bodhisattva, the great being. The Lord. Because of absolute purity. Subhuti. For what reason is this the perfection of wisdom of the bodhisattva, the great being? The Lord. On account of the knowledge of the modes of the path. All knowledge. Unstablished in either samsara or nirvana. Subhuti. The perfection of wisdom of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, O Lord, is not got at on the shore this side, or on the shore beyond, or in between the two. The Lord. Because of its absolute purity, Subhuti. Subhuti. For what reason is the perfection of wisdom of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, not got at on the shore this side, or on the shore beyond, or in between the two? The Lord. Because of its absolute purity, Subhuti, on account of the fact that all dharmas are the same in the 3 periods of time. Farness from perfect wisdom owing to lack of skill in means. Subhuti. If again, O Lord, a son or daughter of good family who belongs to the great vehicle would, unskilled in means, cognize the perfection of wisdom by making it into a basis, he will thereby part from this perfection of wisdom and get far away from it. The Lord. Well said, Subhuti, well said. So it is, Subhuti, for also, names and signs are sources of attachment. And why? Because all dharmas are signless and nameless. Subhuti. How, O Lord, are also names and signs sources of attachment? The Lord. Here, Subhuti, a son or daughter of good family who belongs to the great vehicle seizes on the perfection of wisdom through a name, seizes on it through a sign. And, having seized on it through a sign and a name, they will part from the perfection of wisdom, will get far away from it. By minding it they will part from the perfection of wisdom, will get far away from it. Nearness of perfect wisdom owing to skill in means. Subhuti. It is wonderful, O Lord, to see the extent to which this perfection of wisdom of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, has been well taught, and well rounded off. The cognition of entities as a point to be shunned. Sariputra. What, then? Subhuti, is attachment on the part of the bodhisattvas who course in perfect wisdom, and what is non-attachment? Subhuti. Here, then. Sariputra, a bodhisattva, or a son or daughter of good family, unskilled in means will perceive the skandhas as empty, and that is an attachment. Unskilled in means he will perceive past dharmas as past dharmas, future dharmas as future dharmas, present dharmas as present dharmas, and that is an attachment. Moreover, it is an attachment if a bodhisattva, while perceiving a basis, courses, beginning with the first thought of enlightenment, in the six perfections. Points to be shunned and antidotes. Antidotes and points to be shunned. As again, then. Sariputra, you have said, what is the non-attachment of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, who course in perfect wisdom? The bodhisattva, the great being, who courses in perfect wisdom and who is skilled in means does certainly not perceive form as form, feeling as feeling. Not past dharmas as past dharmas, nor does it occur to him. I give a gift, to him I give a gift, this gift I give. I guard morality, this morality I guard, through that do I guard morality. 2. I beget merit, thus I beget merit. I enter on the bodhisattva's certainty of salvation. I will purify the Buddha field. I will mature beings. I shall reach all knowledge. The bodhisattvas who course in perfect wisdom and are skilled in means do not make any of these discriminations. And why? On account of the 20 kinds of emptiness. These are the non-attachments of a bodhisattva, a great being, who courses in perfect wisdom and who is skilled in means. See. Once more the points to be shunned. Sakra. In which manner, Subhuti, is there attachment on the part of a bodhisattva? Subhuti. Here, Kausika, the bodhisattva perceives thought, perceives giving, to wisdom, the 20 kinds of emptiness, perceives the Buddhas, the Lords. He perceives the wholesome roots which have been planted under the Buddhas. And after he has heaped up all these, rolled them into one lump, and weighed them up, he converts them into the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. This is an attachment on the part of a bodhisattva, and through it he does not course in non-attachment. And why? For it is impossible to turn over the essential original nature of form, feeling. D. Once more the antidote. Moreover, Kausika. A bodhisattva who wants to instruct others in the supreme enlightenment. Who wants to instigate them. Fill them with enthusiasm for it. Encourage them towards it. He should do so with a mind which keeps in agreement with true reality. And also in such a way that, when he courses in perfect wisdom, he does not produce such discursive ideas as I give a gift. It is thus that a bodhisattva rouses and incites others. In that way he does not cast his self away, and the manner in which he rouses others has the sanction of the Buddhas. It is thus that a bodhisattva should rouse and incite to the supreme enlightenment. And it is in this way that that son or daughter of good family succeeds in abandoning all the points of attachment. Subtle attachments. The Lord. Well said, Subhuti, you who point out to the bodhisattvas, the great beings, these points of attachment. I will now announce to you other, more subtle, attachments. Listen to them well, and pay good attention. I will teach them to you. So be it, O Lord. And the Ven. Subhuti listened in silence. The Lord. Here, Subhuti, a son or daughter of good family who has set out for the supreme enlightenment, attends to the tathagatas through a sign. But, so many signs, so many attachments. Whatever wholesome root there may be on the part of those tathagatas in the interval of time which begins with the first thought of enlightenment. Until full enlightenment has been fully known. Until they have reached final nirvana in the nirvana-element which leaves nothing behind. And until the establishment of the good law, to all that he attends through a sign, and, having attended to it, dedicates it to the supreme enlightenment. But as long as he attends through a sign, so long there is attachment. And as to the wholesome roots, which are quite free from attachment, of those tathagatas, who are themselves free from all attachment, and as to the wholesome roots of other beings as well, to those also he attends through a sign, and, having attended to them, he dedicates them to the supreme enlightenment. But as long as he attends through a sign, so long there is attachment. But as long as he attends through a sign, so long there is attachment. And why? For the tathagatas should not be attended to through a sign, nor should the wholesome roots of those others be attended to through a sign. F. The depth of Dharma. Subhuti. Deep, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom. The Lord. Because all dharmas are isolated in their essential original nature. Subhuti. I pay homage, O Lord, to the perfection of wisdom. The Lord. For the perfection of wisdom is unmade, it has not been brought about, and so it has not been fully known by anyone. G. The abandonment of all attachments. Subhuti. Hard to know fully are all dharmas. The Lord. Because they have the essential nature of Buddha dharmas. Their nature is a no-nature. May a bodhisattva thus cognize and see the essential nature as a no-nature which has not been brought about. All points of attachment will then be abandoned. H. The fact that it is hard to understand. Subhuti. Hard to know fully, O Lord, is the wisdom. Perfection of the Lord. Because the perfection of wisdom has not been seen by anyone, nor heard, nor felt, nor discerned, nor fully known. Unthinkability. Subhuti. Unthinkable, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom. The Lord, because the perfection of wisdom has not been discerned by anyone, and it has not been cognized by form, by the Buddha dharmas. End chapter 36.